Why do you think the team wasn't ready today? Anything you can put your finger on?
I thought the team was ready. We failed to execute on the opening drive defensively, and we failed to execute on the opening drive offensively. And that's the part that is disappointing, because these guys were ready to go, and to have the lack of execution like we did early in the football game just kind of snowballed from there.
Doug, last year against Detroit, this year against Houston, you guys had similar games, bounced back, played your best football of both seasons. Why were they able to do that, and do you think that's in them to do this now?
I mean, I don't know. We obviously got to look at ourselves in the mirror and figure some things out, and especially here at home. 3 or 4 games that are not very good, and I guess the beauty of everything is we still sit in the driver's seat. We're 6-3, and still a lot of football ahead, and great opportunity. This was definitely a humbling experience today.
Offensively, Doug, do you think it was a matter of Trevor rushing things, the protection not being there? Was there anything you could really pinpoint as to why it never got into that flow on offense?
Yeah, possibly just maybe, speeding some things up in his mind. Obviously when we fail to execute even around him, right? There's problems there. On plays that we should know. We run them all the time, and then you can't put yourself in the third downs like we did, and or turn the ball over like we did, and expect to do anything with it. And it just, you put your defense in a bind, you put special teams in a bind, and that's the disappointing part.
And then just a quick health update, if I could, just on Agnew and then Tyson.
Yeah, I talked to Ferg. We're going to get further testing in the morning and see where they're at. So hopefully we have a better answer for you tomorrow.
Doug, you touched on San Francisco being ready out of the box. How much of that do you discount in terms of your performance, in terms of they had lost 3 in a row, they had been itching to get back on the field and show that they were the Super Bowl contenders, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably something to that, and obviously we had some momentum as well, and it's disappointing to play like we did, but I'm sure for them, I'm sure the message was pretty simple. We have to play better, on their side. I'm assuming, and they did. They played an outstanding football game, and they got after us today, and we got to look at this film and make corrections.
Doug, if the word was right that was a desperate football team, do you want your team to react with a sense of desperation this week? And do you think that helps a team get sharp for a game like that?
I don't think they're a desperate football team. Don't get me wrong. They're not. It's a good football team. Yeah. So I don't think it's desperation. They know what they're doing, right? And they did it well today. For us, we're still trying to get there. And I told the team, again, we haven't done anything here, and we're trying to be like that. We're trying to have that consistency, and to me, this will be in some ways good for our players. A little bit of a wake-up call, quite honestly, and myself included, coaches, players, we all have to, what are we willing to give up in these next 8 games so we don't do this again? Right, and I think our players will rebound. They always have, and look forward to next week.
Doug, some of the stuff you talked about today, red zone turnovers and some other issues, have sort of been around all year. Is there a feeling of why can't we get this fixed? It should be fixed by this point. It's. Obviously, turnovers can't happen. They just flat out can't happen. And we gave them 3 of them today, and you just can't. Huh?
4.
Was it 4?
2 interceptions, 2 fumbles.
Yeah, that's right. Two interceptions. You can't do that. You just can't do that. It's a matter of whoever has the football, take care of the football. That's your job. Bring it back to the huddle. Let us play another down. And we continue to stress it. Our players continue to stress it. And until we, until we figure that out, it's long. You just can't do that. Again, if you want to be a playoff team, you got to take care of the football.
You kind of alluded to a little bit there, both with that answer and the home game situation. You've had two real statement games as far as the national perspective goes at home here against Kansas City, and today you haven't scored a touchdown in either of them. Is the offense maybe sort of gripping the club a little bit too tight, trying to swing too hard maybe, as it were, to use a golf analogy, trying too hard to make a play instead of just taking what's there? I mean, look at Christian Kirk kind of fighting for that extra yard at the 6-yard line when he's not going to get in. Trevor firing a fastball to tank as a couple of examples.
And I don't think Christian was fighting. I think he was held up, and I think the ball got punched out. I don't think it was necessarily him fighting for extra yards. But again, those are plays that we want to hang on to the football. Sometimes you're asking questions that are really hard to answer because the team's ready to go. They have a good week of preparation. Why we go out like that? I mean, nobody wants to go out and coach that way. Nobody wants to go out and play that way. Nobody wants to go out and lose that way. We have too much pride, and these are great opportunities for me to coach this football team and to lead this football team and to instruct this football team. And until we've got some young guys that are learning this for the first time, and kind of going through a little adversity. And again, we're trying to put ourselves in positions to be a better football team in the AFC, and sometimes it looks brilliant, and then there's days like today, not so good. And those are the things that each person has to look at themselves and say, what am I studying enough? As coaches, are we putting our players in better positions to be successful? Are the players, doing what they need to do? Coaches doing what they need to do? So it's a group effort. There's enough, enough stuff to go around. I don't want to call it blame, but it's everybody doing their job, right? And I know this football team, and I know they'll come back Wednesday, when we get ready for Tennessee, and they'll be focused and ready to go.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.